So, for those of you that were looking to get me a new tripod, don't worry about it. There's a new tripod here. Matthew had one that he did not use anymore, and this is a way better tripod than that short one over there. This one's chest high to me. So, pardon the mess. My wife is restuffing dog toys. Are we live? Did it start? I think it started. I'm using my phone today or my watch today to run my camera. So, as you can see, a little bit different angle, right? That's because we have a new tripod like you saw to begin with. So, as you guys saw, the name of this video is Half Face Blades. I have a box here for Mr. Chris Kelly in Ohio, and there are 3 Half Face Blades in there. So, for you guys that don't know, Half Face Blades is a company out here in San Diego. It was formed and built by a SEAL. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but he knows Elliot. They're friends. And they have expanded their operations. He makes full custom knives. I don't know if they're full custom anymore, but their knives are pretty awesome. I think the ones that in here are some showings of their older work, but still really good, really nice knives. Very, very solid, rustic as fuck. They are the kind of thing you could take out in the woods and just beat the fuck out of shit in the woods. So, as you can tell, I still have a little bit of funk in my chest, but what we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull these out and we'll take a look at them, and then we'll get a good shot of them from above with the new tripod, which is damn near as tall as I am, which is nice because then I'm face on with you guys. I'm not looking down at you. You're not looking up at me. I think it's a little bit better. So let's go ahead. We'll pull these out and we'll take a look at them real quick. So guys, I have 3 different models. Now, I could not find this model. I know this is the Crow. They have the Crow Junior. Now, I like this one. This one, I really like the design and shape on, and I like the way it was executed. So Half Face Blades, like I said, he's a guy here in San Diego. You can see that he uses, there's a half of a face. So this is the Crow. It has a Native American on it, apropos. Man, this one got so sharp. Now, I'm not 100% sure what steels these are made out of, so I can't really talk to that. I did try looking it up. I didn't see much. But here's the thing. He's friends with Elliot. The owner of the company is friends with Elliot. And so I am trying to get up there to do a video, and maybe we can get it that way. Here's another model. This is, I couldn't find all the stuff I wanted to on their webpage. I might have something for you by the time we put this. This is another one. Nice little, looks like a bottle opener here at the back. These are all really coarse finished, but they're pretty, I mean, they are not just pretty, they're well-built knives. Fixed blades. I think he is getting ready to do some folding knives, but these, for as rough as they are, they come out and they're sharpened, they sharpened up really nice. You can tell it's hand ground. There's some inconsistencies in the grind, but overall, these are really nice. And the only complaint I had was this one. This one, the stag handle has not been stabilized, so you still get that funky smell. If any of you guys have ever handled stag handle, or it's a stag horn, stag antler, I should say, when it's been ground down to where the marrow area is, it gets a funkiness to it, especially when my hands were wet. But we'll get this camera turned around. There's 3 of them here. One of them is a Crambit. It's not a bad design. I wish it had more space in there. I would almost have to, I don't know how I would carry this. It's too small for my hand. But we'll get a look at all of them here in just a second. All right, I was trying to get all these in frame. Pardon my coffee. So guys, this new tripod is big. I'm trying not to bump stuff. All right. So as you can see, full stag handle. It's ground fairly well. I definitely have had ones that were better ground, but I think these are a little bit older. His newer stuff that I saw online looks a lot more refined, a lot more finished. but the grind overall is really good. It comes down to a nice consistent edge, and it got sharp, guys. Sharp. But these are built heavy. These are built for somebody that's going to be outside pounding and digging around. But I do like the way they did the finish on this. You can see that there's, I'm not sure if that's in the steel. I'm not sure. I can't 100% tell if that's a finish or if this was a type of laminated or Damascus. I don't think that that's, I really don't think that is. I think that's just a pattern that got put on after. Really comfortable. The handles are well done, comfortable in hand. This is something that you would go out in the woods with and have no problems depending on. Come with fairly decent Kydex sheaths. I don't dislike them. I think that the ones that Matt makes are a little bit more, I think that they lock on, but their pinch points are a little bit better on the ones from Armitage Carry. But hey, comes with a sheath. I've seen a lot of custom makers just send the knife and then you're responsible for the sheath. I pinged on Jim Skelton about that, but I have come to notice that there's a handful of people that have been doing that. So here's the Crow, and this is the Crow, and this is the one I really like. There is a pattern in this steel. You can see where the sheath rides. That's the pinch point. But this is really, really comfortable, super comfortable. And this is the kind of blade that I would have carried as an outdoorsman. This is really, really comfortable. Kind of the same blade shape of what I put on my Hornet. Actually, I mean, this is a little bit different, but here, I've got one right here we can compare. Not trying to throw shade. I'm just saying it's a very appealing blade shape. Mine doesn't have the back swedge, but the big belly coming up to a point, kind of similar. I really like this blade shape. And like I said, they are handmade, so you get some inconsistencies in them, but they all came out. I like them for what they are. I like them for being rustic and rough around the edges. They're kind of like me. I'm rustic and rough around the edges. But half-face blades, and then like I said, there's different logos on different ones. Let's see what's on. Here is the Karambit. Now I'm not as big a fan as the Karambit. Oh look, it's a hawk. Not as big a fan of the Karambit. It's got these, I guarantee these are hard to grind. But there's some inconsistencies on it, but it came up to a really good edge. But this one has got carbon fiber handles and brass pins, or copper pins, I mean. And it's finished really well. Handles are nice and comfortable. Like I said, they're a little bit small for my hand. If you can see, I'm kind of pinched in there, but I have unusually large hands. So if you were, let's try it reversed. Yeah, I don't like that at all. It pinches in places I don't want it to pinch in reverse. So I've only ever had one Karambit that I liked, and that's the one that I carry. It's that Wee incisor. But like I said, they all come with nice clips and things. I'm trying to get it set up. I'm gonna message him, and I'm gonna come up by his shop and see if I can't get some video up there. But yeah, this is one of those, I'm not sure what steel they're in, but my goodness, they took a keen edge, and they weren't that hard to sharpen. So yeah, guys, half-face blades, they're not horrible. They're not horrible. Another fixed blade. Here's the thing, he makes fixed blades. Like I was saying, he makes fixed blades, and until recently, that's all they were making. Like I said, they do have a folding knife that is listed on their channel. If you go to their front page, half-face blades, just look it up, and you'll go right to their webpage. So, like I said, I do know that they have a folding knife that they're either designed or are releasing or have already released. So, I mean, they are right around a $300 price point. So, I mean, there's some inconsistencies with them. I can't really argue that price point. I know how hard it is to make knives. People are like, $300 for a fixed blade knife. And I'm like, I get it. Making a fixed blade it has its own special set of requirements and grinding. So sorry guys, I was in the process of saying something when my phone just decided it wanted to stop. I think I got a text or something. But what I was saying is, you know, there is a laundry list of things that are different about making a fixed blade knife than a folding knife, which either way you look at it, some of them can be easier, some of them can make it more difficult. One of the things that I was saying is when you're making a folding knife, like I have one of Elliot's prototypes here that I just brought it in because I had never sharpened his S90V. I mean, there's a lot of parts in this that are off the shelf. The screws, the detent, the pivot, the bearings, the spacers. So, I mean, they do make their own pocket clips and stuff, but what you don't get when you're trying to make a fixed blade is standard off-the-shelf parts. I mean, there are some, like the screws that I use in this are a standard part. The barrels they go in are a standard part, but you still have to modify. I have to modify these screws a little bit. Sometimes they're too long. You have to modify the barrels that they go in. So there is no like standard parts for a fixed blade knife like there are. Now, does that make making a fixed blade harder? No. Does it make making it easier? There's things about making a fixed blade that are easier than making a folding knife. And there are a lot of the math that goes into it, the design work that goes into it. You can't just draw a folding knife out on a piece of paper and cut it out with an angle grinder. But then there's a list of things like everything on a fixed blade, if you're making it custom, is made by hand. The handles, everything, the grinding, and the hidden costs like abrasive belts and things like that. So it's one of those things like people don't understand. People are more inclined to say, oh, well, I'm not gonna pay that much for a fixed blade, even though there's really not that much less work. Heat treat still takes the same amount of time. You use the same abrasives, the same amount of grinding, things like that. The assembly is nowhere near as lengthy, but you know, guys that make folding knives all the time. Sorry about that, guys. I keep getting phone calls and text messages. This is the time of the day where I get most of my emails. Every time I get a notification that somebody is calling or something, it kicks my camera off. So I put the phone in Do Not Disturb. What I was saying is, guys that make folding knives, a lot of times they've got that dialed in. I've watched Chris and Elliot make folding knives. Now, I'm not saying that makes it easier or cheaper. I'm just saying that, you know, the time it takes to assemble a folding knife after you've done a ton of them and a bunch of them, like Chris and Elliot have done thousands of knives at this point. Guys like Rexford, they have a formula that they basically do it to, and it makes it more standard and it's easier for them. And at this point, I'm pretty sure Elliot could put a knife together in the dark and still have it come out good because they've developed a system to it. So not detracting at all from the fact that, yes, there's a ton of work that goes up into fit up and things like that on every knife. But it's just it's a completely different animal when you're talking about making a custom fixed blade versus making a custom folder. Or I don't know what to call Chris and Elliot's knives at Fair and Forge anymore. They're not custom, and they're not production. They're not mid-tech. They're something different. They're their own thing because there's so many options available on their stuff. So, no, guys, that's it. Like I said, at the end of the video, the end of the video is coming. I just want to see how I want to film the outro. So I had something I wanted to say to you guys. So stick around for that, and I will be right back. All right, guys. So this is the last thing I wanted to say. So I do know I talk a lot about my financial situation, and that's not me complaining or anything like that. Sometimes it might seem like it. So I do know I say it a lot, but that's because I said before this channel was, I said it when my dad got real sick, that this channel was someplace where I was not going to keep anything hidden. So yeah, it's been rough starting, but people are like, oh, just quit. You should just quit and get a job. It's not going to work. And I would say that two reasons I'm not going to. One, I see a light at the end of the tunnel. I see things getting better. I am seeing things slowly but surely gaining momentum. And I have a knife design that's coming out, and we haven't even seen prototypes on that yet. So there's a chance that might help. I mean, that's going to take some of the load off. But the fact is, if I do need to, I will take a part-time job to help make ends meet and things like that. But to just say that I'm going to quit, that's not something I'm good at. I don't quit well. The only thing I've ever quit in my life was I quit a job to join the Navy, and I quit a job to take my GS job, and I quit that GS job because it was killing me. And so that's one reason I don't like to quit. And the other thing is, there's something I learned from being in the military is that adversity can lead you to something better. We used to say that adversity and difficulty, mainly adversity, it's the crucible in which greatness is formed. And you see it. It comes out in people when they're put under a stressful situation that is not something that they ever think is going to work out. And that's when the inner greatness of a person can really, really come to light and come to the surface. So with that being said, guys, I love you all. Don't worry about me too much. Everything's going to work out fine, even if I do have to take a job. And I will talk to you all later. Keep that in mind, though. Adversity breeds greatness. It does. So you guys take it easy, and I will talk to you later.